answer without it.
Yeah. Okay, good morning to class today. It's not the usual class. Usually it's on Thursday, right? The Parsha class.
That's on Thursday?
No, because I'm going to be in New York, so it's hard to give a class from here. Now you understand. Tonight is Gimmel Tamuz. Tonight is Gimmel Tamuz, the third day of Tamuz, which is the Yom, the passing of the Rebbe. And we all know that the Kabbalah tells us that the tzaddik, Yaakov Avinu Leimei, tzaddik doesn't die because the tzaddik is a ruchnius. A tzaddik is a spiritual thing, entity that comes to the world to uplift the world, to transform the world. And if you learn Chassidus, you learn Tanya, you'll know that that's the avodah of a tzaddik. The avodah of a righteous person is to make a difference in this world, to make the world, to give it a different concept, to change the shift of the world, to ultimately make this world a better world. And we all know that Rebbe made that in many, many different ways. But we're going to bring out in this class something that the Rebbe really wanted that everybody should have and everybody should change in their mind. And therefore, it might be in many ways what you're going to hear the Rebbe saying might be shocking. And maybe it's hard for you to hear, especially if you've gone through any kind of sadness or headaches in your life. But who hasn't? But everybody's different. Some people take it in one way, some people take it another way. And therefore, we have to imagine, as I say, when you learn Tanya, you have to imagine that the Rebbe is talking to you, and the Rebbe, whatever anybody went through tzaddik in life, he went through also in life on many levels. And nevertheless, he taught this, he expressed this. What we're going to learn today, the Rebbe taught, he expressed, he wanted, it was his life. And all his teachings, if you learn Chassidus or the Rebbe, you learn the Maimonim of the Rebbe or any Sichos of the Rebbe, you'll see that it is the thread that goes through everything that he taught. And actually, he started off his leadership with a very famous statement that you're gonna hear in this the class, and started off with this statement and believed that became the Maimon, the discourse of his the Rebbe becoming a Rebbe in 1950. And he explained this statement year after year after year after year. He explained this statement to each and every one of us. This is a class that was put together by JLI many, many years ago. Maybe you were in this class. But this is a class that was put together many years ago, and therefore it's the JLI style. You know, usually it has a PowerPoint, and there's over here exercises, etc. This is so it's part of that kind of a course, but it's a little different than like the Chumash course that we do every week, which doesn't really have all these exercises. So, I mean, the exercises that start in your book, exercise number 1, your page number 2, you have all these exercises to gauge, not to tell anybody, to gauge what is your kind of what's your feeling, or the way you react to things that happen in life. So the first one is your child's not conforming to class rules, not my children. And it also instigates to others to disrupt classes. What is your attitude to that? What is your attitude? Every child has ups and downs. I'm not a good parent. I wish I were. I wish he was like. I wish he was like his sister. He has lots of energy. Kids are not well-mannered as they used to be. Oh yeah, leadership qualities. What is your feelings? A newcomer opens up a competing business with a mile of your own. This is the hardest one. This is Bal Gavul. You know, people always feel other people are stepping in their thing. So I'm not good at my job. I'm going to have to work harder. It can bankrupt me. This demand a good service has risen recently. I can't believe there isn't a law that forbids this. This can compel me to improve the qualities of my productive and services. And gauge it with yourself. You're approaching the 70th birthday. You're older and wiser. My best years are behind me. And I don't be able to be productive anymore. I need to retire. I'm looking my way forward for many happy years. The younger generation does not get it. Okay, you got the last one. Okay, that's true. Okay. Okay. And so they go to the learning exercise number 2. Are you more of a pessimist or an optimist? So where do you go where do you gauge yourself? On what kind of a level would you gauge yourself? Would you gauge yourself as a pessimist or would you gauge yourself as an optimist? Okay. This is all to see what are you? Each and every what are we more critical of things? Are we more easygoing? What kind of temperament we have? What kind of character we have? And really, that is the truth is to the difference of what you're going to come to an answer to yourself. What kind of person you are? What kind of midas you have? You see in Pirkei Avos, in essence of our fathers, the Mishnah says that different midas. People have different kinds of character. Not everybody's the same. There's not one brush that will, do everything at once. There's no one answer to every question. But the Rebbe felt there is a general answer to all questions. There's not a particular answer to every question because it's impossible. Every person needs the tailor-made answer to the tailor-made situation. There's got to be a general attitude, a general answer that maybe covers all questions. And really, that was this class, that there is a general answer. The question is if you can you bring that general answer to your particular situation? No, that's up to you. But there's got to be a general answer that everybody can tap into because it's not a particular concept, it's a general concept. It's an attitude. It's the way one has an attitude which will change all. Maybe there's no promises because again, you can have this general attitude, but when you come to a particular situation, you don't know how to connect the dots. We might not know how to connect the dots, but we need to first, if we build on this general attitude, which I believe, again, that Rebbe had this general attitude, and he wanted everybody to have the generality. That doesn't mean that the Rebbe didn't cry, and the Rebbe did over situations that were happening in the world and terrible situations that were happening in the world. And he cried over it. And the Rebbe would say many times, Asatutvei Shaitman, that when something is hurting you, you scream. But he never moved away from his general attitude. He never, ever moved away from the klal, from the general attitude, which I believe that Rebbe wanted. Even though we go through tzaddis, we go through challenges in life, we should always sometimes go back to that general attitude that each and every one of us should have in life. And this is a beautiful thing. So let's start off with a statement that Rebbe starts off. Well, there's another exercise I forgot. Okay. Match each of the entity on the left with the most suitable metaphor on the right. What do you feel like? A desert, a farm, a forest, a garden, a jungle, your family, a zoo maybe, your social circle, your daily schedule. This is a great, general, JLI, there's a God bless them, they put together such wonderful classes. But they took these questions, professionals to put together these questions because there's not an answer that you should say what the answer is. Your synagogue, your political arena, planet Earth. What would you put everything into? How would you characterize every situation? No, planet Earth. Someone wants to say planet Earth. What is it? A jungle. a zoo. Your family. A zoo. Okay. No, not joking. It's true. Sometimes. Okay. So the Rebbe, let's look at the Rebbe wanted. We should start off this class. Text number 1. When we look at the physical eyes, it's the Rebbe in his teaching. When we look about with physical eyes, we only perceive the physical aspects as we see, and we naturally wonder what is happening with this world. situation is steadily deteriorating from one generation to the next, and even from 1 year to the next year. Forget about generation to the next. It seems like every year this is getting sugar and more sugar. So, what's going on over here? Goodness does not prevail. Conditions are not improving. Holy and spiritual values do not dominate. This is especially true with regard to the Jewish concerns. Our nation has always been a small minority amongst the world inhabitants, and this is certainly the case today. Let's see. I don't know. Things are improving. I don't know about that. Whatever. Certain things are improving. Things are improving. This world is becoming more immoral. That's for sure. I don't know about holiness and immorality. Okay, so becoming more. Actually, this world is becoming more. Into groups. To groups. We're becoming more group oriented, tribal. Right. We're becoming more group oriented. So as long as your group is okay, you're in the right group, you're gonna be okay. You're in the Jewish bubble, you're gonna be okay. Leave the Jewish bubble. God forbid, you better be careful. Such thoughts easily lead to the conclusion that this world is but a jungle dominated by vicious animals. And it certainly does not remotely resemble a garden yields edible food. Such thought ought to lead to dejection and despair. How can we hope to affect the change of the world for better if the situation is continuously denigrated? If we reach this conclusion, even if we have difficult to obey and continue to study Torah and do good deeds, we will lack the zest and happiness that is necessary in order to fulfill our mission. That was the Rebbe's worry. The Rebbe's worry is we have a mission, so who cares about the world? We have a mission, right? The Jewish mission. We have the Jewish mission. Abishai gave us a Torah. He gave us a mission, right? He put us in this world. The mission is in this world, not in Mars. The mission is right there. So if we're going to sit and think about the world, and you're going to start becoming dejected and disappointed and in despair, then the biggest problem is you're forgetting the mission. We're losing the mission. And that's a chaval. That's really sad. Why would God put us in a world that would create a situation that would affect this mission? In so much as it appears that we will certainly fail. But the world is no more than a wild jungle and by vicious beasts. So the Rebbe said the Rebbe started off his leadership with the following statement, that you cannot look at the world this way. It doesn't make a difference what you see. You need to change your attitude to the world. If you're not going to change your attitude to the world, then you're going to have a struggle in your mission. And the Jewish people will ultimately have a struggle in their mission. And each and every single one of us will have a struggle in our mission. And therefore, the Rebbe started off his mission in the world in 1950. Actually, this statement was said in 1951. In 1951, Yud Shvat, 10th of Shvat, 1951, the Rebbe started the Maimer, which, as I said, based on this verse, Basi Legani Achaisikal. I've come into my garden. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. This is a verse in Shir HaShirim, which King Solomon expresses that the Eibishter says, God says to a Jew, come into my garden. And he calls every person my sister, my bride. It means I have a personal connection, not just a general love, that I have a personal relationship, God says, so to say, with each and every one of you. And I want you to come into my garden. That's the mime. That's the basic. That is the mime that Rebbe started. That the Rebbe said we have to look at this world as a garden. Because that's what Shlomo Melech says in Shir HaShirim. The Eibishter says, "Come into my garden." You might look at this world as a jungle. You might look at the situation in your life as not perfect. But the Eibishter says, This is a garden. The general principle is a garden. The garden might have weeds. Thanks, but it's still my garden. You have to, the general has to be that it's my garden. And the Rebbe explained this verse in many, many ways. He went through this word, Basi, I come in, he took this verse in Shir Hashirim, Basi Legani, to my God, Legnuni. You can go this Maim as it explained year after year for 60 years. The Rebbe explained this Maim over and over and over, how a Jew must look at the world, how the attitude of Jew must be to the world. So therefore, the Rebbe said, text number 3, we must know that the world is a garden. It's not a field that yields grain, which is necessary in order to, grain is also one, but it's not that. Torah says, don't come into my wheat field. Torah says, doesn't come into my desert. The Torah says a garden that yields luxurious fruit. The Abish says, come into my garden. Why? I don't want your krechts in my garden. My garden has beautiful trees. Krechts. Vetching. Sighing. I don't want you to think that this is my garden. Come into my garden. A garden is full of beautiful fruits. Why did David say fruits? Because fruits give pleasure. It's a pleasure. You cannot eat wheat. You go into wheat. What do you do with a wheat field? You have to go and thresh it. You got to go and cook it and bake it. There's a lot of work. A garden that has apples and oranges and whatever. You take it all. You enjoy the fruits right there and then. That's the beauty of a garden. Everything has a beauty. As I say, wheat has a beauty too. But it's a lot of work to bring out wheat. The Avish says, no, this world is, don't look at it, oh, what's going to bring out, what you can do with it. The world itself is a beautiful garden that has unbelievable delicacies and has unbelievable good things in it. Moreover, the pleasure provided by giving entity is subjective. It's extended to determined by the needs and the taste of its owner. That's it. Everybody, the Abishter wants that everybody should enjoy this world. Everybody, not say, oh, he's lucky, he can enjoy the garden. I am having a miserable time. No, the Abishter says this garden is beautiful for everybody. Everybody can enjoy this garden. Everybody. If you like apples, there's apples. If you like bananas, there's bananas. If you like oranges, whatever delicacy you want. If there was only one delicacy, like apples, well, I don't like apples. Maybe says, I made this garden full of trees. You can find in this world beauty. Everybody can find in this world beauty. This world is not just anyone's garden, but it's God's garden. Like God needs my garden. As the verse states, I've come into my garden. Its goodness is therefore measured according to his infinite terms. I don't give goodness with limitations. I don't give goodness with strings attached. God does, are you cold? God doesn't give goodness with strings attached. There's no strings attached. Teva Tov Lahativ. The nature of good is to do good. Abishter gives good to everybody. Abishter says, I give good to everybody. I'm not looking for anything. I'm not looking for anything back. I don't need your thank yous. I don't need anything from you. I'm giving good because I want to do good. And I want this world to be good. Chassidus goes even a step further. Because you can say, you know what? Maybe God, when he created the world a beautiful garden. But right now, it is a jungle. The AV, years ago, 3,000 years ago, 5,783 years ago, God was a beautiful garden. But now, times have changed. Maybe it's changed. Maybe Shlomo Melech, the time of Shlomo Melech, it was a beautiful garden. Maybe you say the verse. It said by Shlomo Melech, that's 2,000 years ago, 2,500 years ago. So Chassidus says no, that the Eibishter creates the garden every day. Not that he created the garden 5,000 years. He creates the garden every day. You say that in your davening every day in text number 4. In his goodness, God renews each day, continuously the work of creation. So the Eibishter, God creates the garden right today in the morning. Today, every minute, he creates this garden. As it says, give thanks to him who makes great luminaries. It's a verse in Tillim, which we say in davening. Who does oidim gedolim, great luminaries. What are the great luminaries? Every day, your sun and the moon comes out. That's the general meaning of the great luminaries. The Eibishter brings about the sun and the moon, Baruch Hashem, the luminaries of the sky, every single day. Why? For his kindness is eternal. Because since the world was created with God's kindness, and this kindness is as I said before, is unlimited, unrestricted, no strings attached. Strings attached. That's right. You think they float up there by themselves. But a Jew believes that every day the Eibishter creates the world, and every day he creates the world only because of the kindness that he loves this world. And he loves every human being that's in this world, because as you say in the morning, so we say it, Hamachadish betuvei b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh bereishis. That's or the next one, la'osei, to make luminaries. La'osei is not in the past. You know Hebrew well. La'osei is not in the past, but la'osei is in the present. He makes illuminaries, great illuminaries, to shine every single day. So it's not something in the past, it's something that happens actually in this present time. So that's it. That is the general attitude. Just gave you the general attitude. The general attitude is no, don't look, don't fall on what's happening around you. Don't even get affected what's happening with you. A Jew has to realize that this is God's garden. This is one beautiful place. This is one unbelievable, beautiful place. And the problem with that is, as learning exercise number 4, is we all know is human suffering. We all nobody should go through human suffering. We have life challenges, and maybe we see the world as an immoral. I said before, the world's an immoral world. The world's getting immoral. So what do you do with all that? How do you put that general? How do you live with the specifics? I gave you a general attitude, but the point is, I don't live only with the general. I live with the Pacific. I live with what's happening right now. And nobody should go through human suffering, but those who do go, but those who look at the world to say this world's becoming an immoral world, another unethical world. So what does he do with that? So the Rebbe said, if that's your challenge, if you go through a personal challenge, you have to always go back to the general. The big picture, the general, that it's good, that the Eibishter created a good world. Why you have to always go back to the general? Because there may be, you'll look at the particular indifferent. If the particular is going to become your focus, if the situations that become your focus in your life, then, and you're going to lose the general, you're going to start looking at life in a different way. And the Rebbe wanted that a person should never lose this general attitude in his life. And look at the Rebbe, it says it in text number 5. When this perspective, we view the world differently. And when we do so, we begin to notice things that we missed upon first glance. When we realize that it's our responsibility to constantly be on the search, we endeavor to look around us and perceive that which is beneath the shell, the fruit that's under the pale. We are confident that we will successfully uncover the garden that is latent in creation, because the Torah tells us that it's indeed there. So, therefore, if you are in a tzar, if you see the will, then you realize if the general has to be there, the truth has to be there, the general has to be there. How do I find the general? How do I find the silver lining in the situation? I don't know. I can't give you that. Every person has to find that silver lining. Uncover the clipper, see the good in it. I don't know that, but if you don't have the general that it's good, then you say it's bad. Then you say it's bad. A person has to be able to if you have the general principle, if the general principle is that it's a garden, then there has to be some place in this situation a garden. Okay, then maybe you'll make improvements, and you'll figure out a way to make an improvement. That will inspire you to make an improvement. So because you know that there is the general rule is it's good. That's it. That's the beauty. So the Rebbe, as it says, even though the situation is bad, but if you keep the general principle that everything is good, even though the thing looks bad, you will work on finding the silver underlining of the situation. You'll find some way.
Everything.
No, everything is good. Everything is good. No, everything is good. That's the difference. That's your difference in the philosophy. The philosophy, everything that comes from heaven is good. You don't see it. You might have to work in it. You might have to develop it. You might have to deflect it. I don't know. Everything ultimately, you can take every negative thing and turn it into a positive. You might not be able to turn. People have taken tragedies and turned it into, motivating things or transforming concepts. So you cannot. But why? Because they understood. They understood that everything is from Min HaShamayim. Everything comes from heaven. And therefore, everything that happens in the world could be deflected, transformed, uncovered to a concept of good. And you have to be able to do that. It's not sometimes easy. I hear what you're saying. It's not sometimes easy to transform something, a bad thing, or a handicap, or a situation you're going through into good. But that's, if you have that general principle, you got it. Yes.
But you take cancer.
Yes.
Look at the improvements that have been made. I mean, it's no longer a death sentence. Years and years and years. I mean, the world is constantly improving. It's never going to be perfect. But cancer goes.
That's not the point of here. No, that's not the point. You're missing the point of here. That's not the point. The point over here is when a person has cancer, what does he do with the situation? Nobody should have cancer. And I don't wish it anybody, even though they found cures. Like you just said before, there's some things you don't have cures. Nobody should have had cancer. Nobody should have cancer. Everybody, if God forbid a person does have cancer, he has to take the situation and figure out the silver lining of the situation. That's the point. Yeah, but not this point. The point over here is a different point. You can make a lot of points, but over here the point is not that there's negative that is, people say to me always, why is there bad in the world? Because you wouldn't know what good is. Why is it bad in the world? Because you wouldn't know what good is. So meanwhile, it's bad in the world. So people have to suffer because some person has to have good. It does not fair. That's why Chassidus does not answer that there's bad in the world, that you should know there's good. I should have, you know what? Therefore, everybody should have bad. I'll learn there's good. Thank you. Why should I have the bad that you should learn there's good? Right? People say the Holocaust brought about Israel. Oh, it means 6 million people had to die for the land of Israel. Why? Why does 6 million Jews have to die for the land of Israel? Why? That doesn't make any sense to me. Nobody should die for anybody, for anything else. So that's what the question is. If you answer the question, oh, the land of Israel, oh, beautiful. Okay, so we just wrote off 6 million people. Oh, we have a land of Israel. We can eat falafel and hummus. Baruch Hashem, 6 million people need to die. My grandparents need to go into the ovens, be close to the land of Israel. Sorry, we could have. Nobody should have died. We should have the land of Israel anyway. Maybe shouldn't say, you know what? I'm going to give you the land of Israel. 6 million people have to die. That's not the way God intended it to happen, and God didn't want it to happen. That has to be important. That has to be a lesson for the 6 million people that died, which is a very difficult concept, which is a question that the $6 million question. There should never be cancer in this world. That is the attitude. There should never be cancer in this world. And Baruch Hashem, that there is a way that they're finding a healing, but there should never be cancer. Like the Rebbe would always say, why work on a situation? Why do doctors work on a healing after the sickness? Why would they work on something that doesn't bring sickness? Before they say, don't bring sickness. That's it. Meanwhile, millions of people have died. They work on everything after the situation. So therefore, that's not okay. Therefore, the point over here is that the Chassidus wanted a person to realize that within the negative there has to be a positive. There has to be a positive, and that was the Rebbe's attitude. The knowledge that we are surely find of precious fruit that God says is part of the garden in which He dwells, infuses us with supreme confidence and enthusiasm, knowing that a precious treasure awaits discovery. We remain focused on our task and do not allow ourselves to be sidetracked by other endeavors. We must know that we inhabit a wonderful world. The evil inclination endeavors in every way possible to obscure the world's preciousness, and in the hope that we lose all hope, God forbid, or at least to lull us into doing the bare required minimum. Through contemplating the above, however, we are assured through life, securing the knowledge that we'll find the fruits of the garden of the God's garden. And that has to be, we have to keep on digging. We got to keep on working to find the garden, because the garden, that's what it is. Because there is a garden. It is a garden. It is a beautiful garden. And that beautiful garden is this world. But see this, because we're not going to deal here with cures and with great troubles. Self-understood, most of us deal with our own struggles in life, whether it's struggles in belief, whether it's struggles in health, whether it's struggles in the financial struggles, whatever struggles we go through. And it's sometimes hard for us to change our attitude, to change the way we look at our own relationship with God, our own relationship with Judaism. The Rebbe brings down a beautiful medrash, which is truly amazing. Transform, the Rebbe would always take these medrashim and accentuate them to prove an unbelievable concept. But here, the Rebbe brings a medrash. The medrash says, "Hine toiv ma'od." The Eibishter created the world. Mentioned today in Chitas. The Eibishter created the world. He created light, And he says, it's very good. So the Medrash says it's good, refers to the human inclination. It's a type. So good. It's very good. Refers to the human inclination, the evil inclination. It's So the Medrash says, good is good. Good is good. Ma'oid, very good, is bad. Now that doesn't make any sense. How do you do that? How do you explain that? Good is the Yetzer Tov. Very good is your Yetzer Hara. Is your evil inclination. Yeah, it's right in front of you. It's It's a medrash. Not tricking you. Right? The medrash says that God says that I created a positive inclination, good in the world. That's type. That is self-understood good. That I created a Yetzer Hara, an evil inclination. That I created the negative is actually even better. How do you answer that question? How do we answer this question? Again, you're only saying the aftermath. That's the mistake everybody makes. Everybody's taking the aftermath. The bad brings you to good. Okay, next. The bad itself is bad. That's not what the Medrash is saying. The Medrash is saying that the bad is good. Again, how is the bad good if it only brings you to good? After the bad, I'll be good. But the bad is bad. Bad is bad. The bad is bad. How is the bad good? The Eibishter created good and bad. Who created bad? The Eibishter created bad. If the Eibishter, God wouldn't create bad in the world, there wouldn't be bad in the world. Right? If God wouldn't create cancer in the world, you wouldn't need a cure. That's it. So God created it. And the question is, why did God create it? That we should get a cure? Don't create it and finish. That would be a better idea, right? This is a hard subject. This is not simple. This is a much deeper subject. And that's why you got to go to the essence of what Sidis teaches us. Why is this world in general here? Why do we need a general physical world? Right? If God wanted a spiritual world, why do you need a physical world? If there is, like, we all believe that there's a spiritual world. You look Kabbalah, you look Sidis. Yeah, there's Attila, there's Bri. It's in the spiritual worlds, and there's a big world up there. What if you think it's a small world here? Big world up there, much bigger than the spiritual world than in the physical world, because there's an unlimited amount of angels. How many millions of billions of souls? It's a big balagan there.
Oh, no.
And nobody should be in a rush to get there. So it's a busy place. So why did he need to will? So again, the Rebbe Sidis takes a medrash, which the medrash says, Daza is the purpose of the world's creation, is around to rabbinical statement that asserts, it's a medrash again, Sava Kodesh Baruch Hu Liya is Dira B'Tachtainim. The Eibishter had a desire that he would have a dwelling place in this lowest world. The Eibishter wanted a dwelling place not only in the beauty of the world. He wanted when you say Tachtainim, meaning that in the world itself, you have upper and lower, you have things that are good and things that are bad, and God wanted specifically to dwell in the bad. God wanted that every one of us should try to figure out a way, not just to get rid of bad, but to find the good in the bad. To find the good in the bad. To find the purpose of creation of bad in this situation. Who created bad again? David created this bad thing. Now find the purpose in this creation. And again, don't pick me big things. I want to talk to my own bad, okay? Because you're always going to ask me the question, which I have no answer. And that's not a chachma. I can give you a list of questions that I don't have an answer to. That's we always reach out to that. And I cannot answer you. Oh, why the Holocaust? Okay, thank you. I know that question. We all know that question. And as the Rebbe would say, that nobody should answer that question. No, the Rebbe, wouldn't he want to say the word cancer, right? We wouldn't say that. Yena machla, right? We wouldn't say even the word, right? You shouldn't give, why? Because you shouldn't give credence, bring a word. Something shouldn't be, some negative things in the world, give it a name. Don't give it a name. Don't give it a name. Why are you giving it prominence? Why are you giving it, a certain? No, you're giving it a name. You're giving it an importance. When something has a name, shows on an important thing. It has its own character. It has its own definition. It has its own name in the English dictionary. Don't give it a name. Yes. Yes. You put it in the kitchen. You have a pen.
Yeah.
It's put it right there now. I'll put it up here.
I'll take it then. No, I'll take it then.
Oh, you did. Okay, you understand? So don't give it a name. The second we give it a name, we give it prominence. We give it some kind of a character. We give it some aspect. So we're not talking about that, and I can't answer you these questions. I'm talking about my own struggles in life, or whether any kind of struggles I go through in life. God wants us to look into ourselves and try to figure out a positive concept in this situation. Not, you know what? I'll never be positive until this situation goes away. I will be destroyed. I'll be finished. When you call me up when this situation leaves. When the sickness leaves, or this headache leaves, or the struggle leaves, then I'll become a better person. Till then, I'm out. That's not what God brought you down to the world for. God said, I gave you the situation. I gave you the struggle. Now figure out how to bring goodness. And Savakadosh Baruch Hu means that when I bring goodness into a negative situation, when I reveal goodness in it, that's where I do Aveda, did about that. What is the meaning? God wanted it. What does it mean to me and you? Practical. That God wanted a dwelling in the lowest place. What does it mean to me and you practically, if you think about it? What means a dwelling? A dwelling means, the Rebbe would explain this also many times, the meaning of a dwelling. What does it mean that God dwells in something? Dira. It's like you have a dira. You have a dira. You have a home. Every one of us has a home, a dira, apartment, whatever you might have. You have a home. What do you have in your home? You feel comfortable in your home. You might not feel comfortable outside. You come to home, hopefully, you feel comfortable. You feel relaxed. You feel yourself. Person should feel himself in his home. And he not only should feel himself in his home in the in the beautiful parts, he has to feel himself at home in every part of the home. Abishter wants to feel that he's part of every part of the home. He's part of every situation that he put in my home, that he put in my home, my situation. He wants that I should be able to bring him to every part of my home. The Abishter, God wants to be part of that home. So right now, I might be in a very uncomfortable place in my home. I might be in an extremely uncomfortable situation right now. Can I bring the Eibishter in that situation? Can I bring God in this Tachtainim? Or I can't. Can I bring that the Eibishter is part of it, which again is the beautiful garden. If God is part of it, then it's my garden. Can I bring that this situation I'm going through right now, which is a tough situation, you know what? It's God's garden. If I can't, in essence, I'm saying that God's not part of this situation. And again, I'm not here judging anybody. Trust me. That's not my point. And I think that's why we should all realize that a lot of these statements were said by the Rebbe. It's not said by Zalman Bucket. Because every day I get up and I say, please God, don't give me a challenge. So I don't want to prove. I don't want to prove anything over here. That's not the point over here. For self-understood, this is what the Rebbe wanted, that we should be able, if we have this general statement, this general principle, that this world is a beautiful world, everything in this world is a beautiful world. The good and the bad and the ugly, everything is part of this beautiful world. Then there's got to be something that if I'm going through in this world, I got to find the silver lining in this situation. Or I got to hope that there's a silver lining in this situation. Not that it's gloom and doom and life is over. Which is not easy. I didn't say it's an easy thing, but that was the paradigm shift that the Rebbe wanted in all of us to be able to have this focus in our life. The Rebbe says in text number 8.1, maybe we'll go through more in the Rebbe statements and maybe it'll get us a little clearer. The Rebbe says Jacob's challenge, stay in the house of Laban, was for the purpose of a great gain, in order that they should become an exceedingly wealthy. Jacob perceived the purpose of the challenge, the profit that it was supposed to bring him. How did Jacob, what a life the man had, struggling life. If you tzaddis, a man that can have tzaddis. Jacob is one of the guys in the Torah that had tzaddis from the inside and the outside. And ultimately his own father-in-law, his wives and everything, his children. But Jacob never bended. He never bended. Why? Why didn't these people never bend? Why did he never collapse? Why did he never give up? Why did he never complain? Because he believed, he trusted that everything that he's doing is going to have a good ending. He got the blessing, he was going through if he got the blessing, everything was thrown at him. Right? You might say, you know what? Who needs a blessing? We give it back. What do I need this? Right? No, he said no. Because not that he's just, because he knew he had total, by him, the outcome was in front of him already. Even it was far away ultimately. It took many, many, many years. That even Jacob says later that the first 130 years of my life were not the most happiest years of my life. But he never complained. He never backed down. Why? Because he knew the life is good. He knew that his life is going to be phenomenal. And it was ultimately phenomenal. The last 17 years of his life, last 17 years of his life. It says he was the most precious, he had the most wonderful life in the world. With his children all together and everything was actually Mitzrayim. But it was ultimately a great life in all aspects, physically and spiritually. So Yaakov Avinu lived his whole life. Yaakov Avinu lived his whole life. Even in the struggles life, by him it was good. By him it was good. and was therefore able to sing. While in the house of Laban, Gemara says that the 15 songs of ascent, which is in Tillim, that we say the 15 songs, the chapter, the 20th day, it starts in chapter 120, is the 15 songs that Yaakov was composed by Yaakov. It's an argument who someone was composed by Yaakov. He sang while he was in love. While he was in love in his house, he was happy. Why? Because by him, there was no question in his mind that there was an unbelievable outcome to this story. And all the negative, all the struggles, all is good, all is bad, was going to be a phenomenal outcome to this story. And that's why he sang even while he was in the shower. No, in the he was in the struggles of life, he sang. And the truth is, that's the struggle. Could we sing through the struggles of life? That's where the song is important. In the good times of life, to sing is not a chachma. The chachma is to sing in the struggles of life. That's the lesson. That's what the Rebbe wanted. Okay. Again, it's not Zalman book of Marvin is saying. This is the Babich Rebbe. I'm not saying anything of this. Okay. So look at the Rebbe says in text number 8b. Because the advantage that ensues from struggles and challenges at times, God orchestrates opponents that attempt to battle us and disturb our divine service. Upon experience such adversity, we respond by singing a song of ascent. The difficulties do not impede our service or cause it to flag. Impede, I'm sorry. Thank you, Moshe. The contrary, they evoke energy, extra energy and courage. They cause us to sing. That's what the Rebbe wanted. You got to sing. I wish. So the challenge makes our growth. That's what you see the back. The challenge makes our growth. Not that from challenge I have growth. The challenge is my growth. Yeah, you with me, guys? That has inspired me. Right? Let's continue. We have no time. We have to go. Ready? Text number 9a. Let's roll. Look at a beautiful Rambam. The Rambam says, people often think that evil in the world are more numerous than good things. Many sayings and songs of nations dwell on this idea. They say that the good things is found only exception, while evil things are numerous and lasting. Not only common people make this mistake, but even many who believe that they are wise. Al-Razi, Muhammad Al-Razi, a Persian physician and philosopher, wrote a well-known book on theology, amongst other mad and foolish things. It contains also the idea that there exists more evil than good. He maintained that if the happiness of man and his pleasures are in times of prosperity be compared to the mishaps that befall him, such as grief, acute pain, defects, paralysis of the limb, fears, anxieties, and trouble, it would seem that his existence of man's punishment and great evil for him. This error results from judging the whole universe by what occurs to a single person. Only an ignorant person believes that the whole universe only exists for him, as if nothing else requires any consideration. If therefore anything happens to him contrary to his expectation, he at once conclude that the whole universe is evil. However, we take into consideration the whole universe, form an idea of it, and comprehend that a small portion is of it, will find the truth. or evil is not found amongst the angels, spheres, the stars, the elements, that which is formed of the elements, that which is the minerals, the plants, or various species of living things. So that's how the Rambam rationalized the whole thing.
This guy who wrote this negative thought is from the era of the
The
Rambam.
Rambam. The Rambam, amazing. Isn't that amazing? So the Rambam continues. I think next stage is the Rambam again. Some people have a great deformities or paralysis of some of their organs. They're also suffering due to the changes of elements that result from bad air, thunderstorms, or landslides. You'll find that these evils are very few and rare. There are countries that have not been flooded and burned for thousands of years. There are thousands of men in perfect health, where deformed individuals are an exceptional occurrence. If you object to the term exceptional, then say few in number. They are not 100, they're not 100, not even 1,000th of those that are perfectly normal. So here we can rationalize this concept even. Another class of evil comprised of that people cause to each other. When some use their strength against others, these evil are even more numerous than those of the first kind. It's nevertheless not widespread in any country of the whole world. It's a rare occurrence that man plans to kill his neighbor or rob him of his property by night. Many persons, however, are afflicted with this kind of evil in great wars, but these are not frequent if all humanity is taken into consideration.
My neighbor is all of humanity. It takes him half an hour to get into the swimming pool and half an hour to get out of the swimming pool, and he never complains.
Baruch Hashem. The more necessary a thing is for the living beings, the more easily it's found and cheaper it is. The less necessary it is, the rarer and dearest it is. Air, water, and food are indispensable to humanity. Air is most necessary. If a man would be without air for a short time, he would die. Or he can be without water for 2 days too. Indeed, air is more plentiful and cheaper than water. Water is more necessary than food. Some people can survive 4 or 5 days without food, provided they have water. Indeed, water exists in every country in large quantities than food and is also cheaper. Same proportion can be noticed in different kinds of food, that which are more necessary exists in a larger quantity and is cheaper than that which is less necessary. No intelligent person, I think, consider musk, amber, rubies, and emeralds as a very necessary for man, except as medicines, and they as well as other similar substance can be replaced for the purpose by herbs and minerals. This shows the kindness of God to his creatures, even so fragile human beings. That's the duty to the heart, yeah. So here the Rambam rationalizes this concept that we push it narrow-minded. Even if you're going through a tzar, you're narrow-minded to make it into that God is where God is. Okay, that's the rationale. This is a beautiful letter from the Rebbe. I think we mentioned this letter once before. This is a story that happened. Leslie, I acknowledge you. I think this is a story that happened. Let's see. Let's read the letter. I acknowledge the receipt of your letter, despite its tone and contents. I have not, God forbid, lost hope that eventually you'll appreciate the good in life, including the good of your own life, and that its appreciation will impact your emotions and frame of mind. In our world, everything is a mixture of good and bad. Human beings must choose which aspect they will emphasize, contemplate, pursue. If everyone's life are two paths, to see good or the opposite. How instructive is that, which our sages tell us, that Adam was an ingrate, even before he had been banished from the Garden of Eden while living in a little paradise. He complained about his circumstances. On the other hand, Jewish men and women who thank and bless the Creator and recite the morning blessings while living through the most horrified times during the concentration camps. Ultimately, everyone's circumstance will be somewhere between these two extremes. Needless to say, intention is not to imply that everyone deserves suffering. God forbid. My point is simply to underscore the reality. Type of lives that we live, the full of satisfaction and meaning, or the opposite, depends largely measured on our willpower, which dictates whether we'll focus on the positive or on the negative. Right. So the Rebbe, this is the next day, the Rebbe writes this letter, the Rebbe wrote to a person who made a celebration of, this was the letter I was thinking about. The Rebbe wrote a letter to a person who made a celebration of a Sefer Torah. He made a celebration of a Sefer Torah, and at the celebration, somebody died. So the letter, the person wrote to the Rebbe, he said, I'm depressed, and it's a terrible thing, maybe I shouldn't have done it, and a terrible thing happened, and I cannot, overcome this situation. The Rebbe writes, I suggest the following. Were the deceased not invited to the Torah celebration, he would have suffered a fatal attack in a very different setting, perhaps on the street, presence of strangers. She would have been deprived of comforting presence of a physician, but also a dear friend of hers, who shared her religious values. In the final moments, she would not have heard any words of encouragement, nor would she have been surrounded by her friends and a core religion. The vast difference between two possible scenarios is self-understood. Moreover, considering how the significance are the last moments of life for a dying person, that she was at a Torah celebration, Based on the teaching of Baal Shem Tov regarding divine providence, it's possible that one of the two reasons why God inspired so-and-so to donate the Torah was to allow the tranquil ascent of this young woman's soul. Wow. You're looking at it wrong, that ever said. The whole reason why the Torah was the whole reason why that person came up with a Torah idea a year before and you decided to complete it on that day was for that woman. Was for that woman that she would die there. And that would occur in a Jewish home, a home that is displays, protected by a mezuzah, and whose first words is here is Ma'aseh Hashem Hashem Echad. So therefore, why don't you look at it that way? You Pasha gave this neshama an unbelievable. Pasha gave this person an unbelievable farewell that she passed away in your house, while in a beautiful Jewish home, and she could have passed away in the street. She passed away in your home, and while you were having a Torah celebration. And while everyone was there in the celebrating mode, her old friends were there, and she passed away. Now, what a schus you had. And maybe that's the whole reason why this Torah was given. Maybe the whole reason why this Torah was donated and given on that day was for her. Because David should know she's going to pass away on that day. But God wanted it to be there in that setting. Understand that? You understand that you look at it in that way. Now you have it's a whole different situation. It's a whole different situation. Doesn't take away from the person that passed away, but it just puts the whole thing in a much more easier way, or nicer way, or more comforting way. And then look at the Rebbe felt about this generation. The complaints that people have against the younger generation, that they are destroying the system or so-called establishment, to be addressed to the educators. When parents and teachers taught younger generation's proper behavior, they explained they explained it as means to be able to afford a nice home, to have a large bank account, to own 2 Cadillacs, his and hers, and to be honorees and seated at the head of the table at a banquet. When this constitutes the reason for choosing between good and evil, it's understandable why youth will ultimately lose all patience with such falsehood. Youngsters are in the process of a spiritual journey. We cannot allow them to drift. We cannot allow them to drift and get lost. We must educate them according to their needs in a pleasant and kind manner and lead them to a proper understanding of right and wrong. The Rebbe ends off. Wait, it's not over, this thing. Okay, yeah, we're finished right now. The youth are brazen, have chutzpah, and are not deterred by anything, not by words, opinion, not by world opinion, not by their parents or families, not even by the opinion by themselves entertained a day earlier. Instead, they proudly proclaim their absolute freedom to do as they wish. This has become especially evident the past weeks as they have held strikes and protests when this was written. This was written. What? Especially because of this chutzpah, it is easier to draw them to the true path of Torah and mitzvahs. We have successfully inspired the youth. They will not suffice with personal Torah observance, but due to their fierce, indomitable spirit, they will also inspire others to do the same. They will be unstoppable force that will transform the entire world, bring alignment, integrity, and justice. That's the way we have to look at the world. The world of the youth is looking for truth. They're not here, they're looking for the truth. They don't care. They're not bashful to say things. Nobody's afraid to say what they want today. No, it's gotten stronger. We call it worse, but it's gotten stronger, this concept. You know, that was talking to the hippies, you know, that was but it's in a way, it is the same. We're looking for freedom. And we have to learn how to figure out not to put them down, but how to find good in them. But you have to accentuate the good that's in them, that you should take that good freedom and be what you want and do what you want, but in a positive way. Putting them down and calling them evil is not the way that's going to help anything. You have to figure out a way how to find the good in everything. To even find the good in these struggles that people go through today. And that's the way you're going to change the world, not by talking about the bad and people are evil and this world's an immoral world. This world's a good world, Baruch Hashem, and even the bad in the world will ultimately be transformed to good. And that was the Rebbe's attitude. I want to wish you all a wonderful day. And I want to remind them that I'm leaving to New York soon. So if you want to send something, just email me. You can give me something. I'll take it to the Rebbe, whatever you want to write. Sure.